I first heard about the project, I was shooting another film, and I got sent the scripts and read them and called my agent up. And I'm a major fan of the Western genre. Always looked for a Western to do, and I thought I was going to have to try and talk my agent into letting me do it, but she was like, if you're going to do a Western, this is the one to do.
I read the script, I heard that it was brewing, and I got a hold of the script immediately, read it, went crazy, and really pursued it probably harder than I've pursued anything else, because the characters are so obviously already developed, brought to life. I couldn't imagine not doing it.
I play Woodrow Call, who is a Texas Ranger, best friends with Gus McCrae. It's his job to bring law and order to the West, but what's ironic about this character is he is one of those characters who's ill-equipped to actually live in this new civil world. He is not very equipped with the social skills that one needs in order to survive in society, and he is one of the dying breed of these great Western figures.
I'll play Gus McCrae, who's a complex character, where he's in his middle ages and he's trying to figure out what it all means. Pretty popular character. I mean, there's a hat you can buy from any hat maker in the country. As far as cowboy hats are concerned, it's the Gus hat.
Captain Skull is an authority on many subjects, and he really is a snob, but he's not really judgmental about people who don't know about horses or botany or nature or history, as he does, but he is constantly challenging himself. He respects talent wherever it comes.
I'm Kicking Wolf, Comanche horse thief extraordinaire. That's what he does his whole life. He just kind of steals horses and kind of wanders the plains, and kind of allows him to be a Comanche without getting involved with all the politics of what's kind of going on.
It's a good story with very, very strong characters. Our stories are generally not plot-driven, they're more character-driven.
Well, to prepare for the role, I'm actually writing a film right now which features Mark Twain and Mary Baker Eddy, who lived in and around Boston at the time. So I'm quite familiar with the period because I've been researching that film for about a year.
First of all, obviously read the scripts many times. Secondly, read the book, Comanche Moon, which I found invaluable. It's really wonderful to have that kind of resource available to you. I mean, every time I'm going to do a scene, I will first consult the book and see what McMurtry's intentions were and get some of the sort of specifics of the character. Physically, we had this cowboy camp for a week or so where all the Rangers got together and learned the basic skills.
To prepare for this role, it was more to just doing the research, and to see where he came from, and listening to the stories of the advisors that are here. And I learned something every day about Quanah, even though you think you've researched all you can about him.
For me, it was doing the research. They're such great people. There's such great history. They were real men then compared to now, They had tougher times. It really gives me a great respect and an appreciation for who they were and who they are still,
People have this notion about the good old days. I'm not certain that these were the good old days. They were certainly the old days, but they were the hard old days. Every day was a basic struggle for survival. Food, shelter, water, and you see that in our story with the Rangers being out on the plains. And even the people in Austin, in a civilized town, how death can come in a moment's notice and how precious life really is.
Well, I think one of the elements that really appeals to me about McMurtry and about Comanche Moon is that it's a story about deep friendship between these men who are charged with the most difficult job, dangerous job, and they depend on each other for their lives, and they go through great tragedies and great laughs along the way, and really seem to have that great element that all fantastic friendships have, which is to not allow a friend to wallow in self-pity, sort of pick them up and dust them off and let's go for a ride.
I think this series translates so well to the screen because, first of all, Larry's novels are extremely visual. In his writing, he's always emphasized the fact that landscape forms a person. And this Western landscape is one that's very familiar to him. He grew up in West Texas. His father and his 8 uncles were all ranchers. that settled in that area. So this is an area that's very, very familiar to him, and it's a landscape that is, again, I mean, we're standing out on it right now. It's really something.
Larry McMurtry's a really great writer. He loves history, and many of the characters are based on either men or women that lived out here in the West, or combinations of characters in the most dramatic settings.
And you can go from laughing at the most sort of poignant observations and comedy to complete tragedy in the space of a page.
Dialogue is very different and very unique in its simplicity and its directness and its, I think we have a tendency to preface everything now, and we love to hear ourselves talk, or at least in this business. And these guys are right to the point, straight up, And yet there's a lot of humor, and it's moving and in its simplicity and its rawness.
Our producer put together a really fantastic cast, and this is the beginning of the trilogy, even though it's the last one that Larry wrote. And the cast is just really fun. Carl and Steve are fantastic. They're everything that you could hope for to fill these very big shoes. What Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall did was a very unique creation years ago, and the fans of Lonesome Dove, which I know are many, will really be satisfied.
And it's been hard work, and the majority of this story takes place outside. But for me, I'd rather be out on the plains for 14 hours a day than sitting at a desk anytime.
When you're out here, this is the office, as opposed to working on a soundstage where you go in and it's dark in the morning when you enter and it's dark when you exit.
Just the opportunity to be working with Diane Osana and Larry McMurtry. I mean, we're talking about some of the best writers of the 20th century.
Very honored. This is really a God-given situation, so I'm very thankful for it.